Greetings, my name is Mpress, and you are watching Moving Mountain Media. This is actually my first show today, and I'm here with my lovely guest, Traci Talbert of the Franklin County CDC, and we will be speaking with Traci momentarily. But because this is a new show, I just want to tell you some of the great things we're going to be talking about in this program and other programs going forward. I'm using this platform as a means to discuss racial justice within Franklin and Hampshire County, as well as a platform to also promote small business owners, Black business owners, and minority business owners, and give them a platform to come here to basically speak about their merchandise and some of their business ventures and where they would like to go. I'm also using this platform as a means of entertainment for like performers and dancers, graphic artists, anybody else who would like to come on and would like to use this as another form of putting out their business and some of their talents. This is also going to be on Moving Mountains Media. So I'm going to be using my show as a means of community outreach, and anybody that knows that's what I do, and that's what I love. So this is just another means, another avenue that I'm using to further promote community development and community unity. Now, with that being said, Traci, hello.
I'm like flabbergasted. I'm so excited that you have chosen to have like a public space to uplift and to encourage and to support Black business owners, underrepresented groups, especially entrepreneurs with the racial justice lens. So celebrate you, and I'm so grateful for you to be in this community. So I'm here.
Thank you so much, Traci. And like I said, today is actually my first show, and it didn't really take me too long to figure out who I wanted to be my special guest today. So it's no surprise, even though I know Traci was like, she was shocked because it was my first show, but it should be no surprise that it will be Traci Talbert. Because if anybody knows the relationship with me and Traci, every time I do a first anything, Traci's always there. The first year that we did Juneteenth in Greenfield, Traci was there for the first event and was also one of the great speakers. And we will be talking about Juneteenth further down the line. But right now, I do not want to take the focus off of who Traci is and the great things she's done. So Traci, who are you, and can you tell us some of the great things you have done?
Oh my gosh. First of all, my name is Traci Talbert. I am a mother, a grandmother, and a hardworking, kind of committed and dedicated community resource, particularly around racial justice. And I think the most ironic thing for me to be where I am right now is that this fight has always been in me, but I've always felt silence. And this is not something made up. This is not something imaginative that I felt like my voice was not being heard, because I know we hear that a lot from folks when they feel like they're being silenced. This is actually such a real thing for me. I come from a background of banking. I spent 25 years in banking, and this is where I really tried to make that impact from recognizing where the banks that I worked at were situated at, but there weren't people that looked like the community that they could come in and relate to. It was always prestigious folks who had a lot of money, who, came in with certain expectations. So when that began to be my reality, I tried to infuse racial justice initiatives into the banking world and trying to get the senior leadership to understand the communities that they're doing business in. That went nowhere. I mean, that fight went on for about 5 years and went nowhere. I actually decided to get my degree in business, thinking that might help me to have a more of a voice. People would pay attention to me if I have some credentials behind my name and the title that I had as a branch manager. And so I went on ahead and got my bachelor's and then my master's degree. And when I left the banking world in 2014, as I was on my academic journey, I found the confidence that you would not believe that just kind of happened to me kind of overnight. And the aha moment that allowed me to push back in a way that's respectful, but challenge the status quo, if you will, and stop being transactional as I sat in spaces and being performative and understanding that systems of racism and institutional racism and these expectations that happen around how we're supposed to behave in certain settings. Oh my God, it just began to become so frustrating for me, and I could not exist in that space and be who I am.
And it's so amazing that you actually say that, because I was actually on the Franklin County CDC website, and it's one of their goals that I found very interesting and tying into what you're saying is basically their goal is to develop a learning community that will dismantle white supremacy systems, beliefs, and culture in Franklin County's business community.
Honestly, that's my goal. Those are my words.
Really?
That was my impact.
Okay.
And my value add to the work as I thought about what real change would look like. So I thought very long and hard about the statement that I wanted to put out as I began my new role. So what does this role mean outside the funders' expectations, outside some of the jargon that was in my job description? Because when they hired me, I told them like right away, if you want truth, I'm the person that you want on your team. If you want performance, I'm not the person. I am not going to sit here and just be this person who's going to say, oh, well, okay, well, maybe tomorrow, or, you know, you're right, this is no. I've challenged everything, and that is actually my statement and my theory of change.
And now that I look at it, and now that you're saying it, I could see you saying that. Yeah. That was a powerful statement, so much so that I highlighted it. But one of the things that's also stuck out to me, and I know we talked a little bit before the show started, was I didn't even know you was a teacher. Okay, can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I think I've always been an educator or a person who always enjoyed inspiring, influencing, and helping others to be something different. I mean, I grew up in a project, and I really came from a place where higher education was not something that I thought was for me. Because the only people that went to college were people who lived in certain areas, who had access to certain things, privilege. And it's not that I didn't want it, but I always felt like I would be looked at differently, and I would probably fail because I've always had a challenge academically when it came to learning. So once I made up my mind to go to school and get my bachelor's and then my master's degree, it dawned on me why I struggled in high school and even elementary school as to learn, because I had no teachers that looked like me. And it wasn't until my final year in my master's program that I had a Black female professor.
Okay.
And that
changed everything.
In the moment, I thought I was going to fail because there was a certain component of the coursework that I wasn't getting, which was actually my final internal review board, which is going to be my thesis work. The application itself was absurd, and I couldn't really get it. But I remember the day I felt like this is not, I don't know who I am, how am I going to get to? And she came into the classroom. She said, "Girl, sit down, and I'm going to help you through this. And you need to stop all that other drama that you're going." The way she spoke to me,
you could relate to it
right away. I felt heard. I felt validated. I felt understood because of the struggles, because I was always trying to give back the way white professors talked to me, the way they directed me. So with that being said, as soon as I got my master's degree, the next year I was teaching at Cambridge College, and that same year in BAPAP. So I graduated in 2017, and I was teaching by the end of 2017 at both institutions. Look at that.
Isn't that amazing how life works out? And it took one person to change your whole outlook on everything, and just look at where you are now, from where you were struggling to where now you've become the teacher. That says a lot about who you are.
Thank you.
I want to talk about this racial justice reflective journey tool, which is actually a tool that you and one of your co-workers, correct?
Not necessarily a co-worker. Mari Champagne, she's a student at GCC.
Okay.
So her and I, actually I came up with the concept of how to get people to self-reflect rather than waiting for these like massive trainings that happen annually internally from their jobs, or this kind of top-down direction, these mandate courses that they need to take. So my whole attitude was, this is about self, and this is about behavior, and this work doesn't live here. So how do I get people to know that this work it comes from the heart? You have to own it here. You have to feel it here. So I came up with a team of 4. Mari, who helped to draft the questions, and she actually went out into the community and interviewed about 80 individuals. We didn't do surveys, we didn't check boxes. We sat with folks and we talked to individuals. I had another dynamic Black female attorney. Her name is Attorney Tasha Marshall. She lives in the Worcester area right now, who actually ensured that the approach and some of the processes were ethical, and that I weren't violating anybody's privacy. So she kept it legal and also allowed me to push back a little bit. And then I had another student of mine, her name is, oh God, why is her name slipping my mind right now? But she was a student from Bay Path, and she actually helped with the design and the software to ensure that some of the processes flowed and what kind of content. So right now, it took about 2 years to develop. It's not where I want it to be fully, but it's enough right now for people to actually go on. It lives on the Franklin County Community Development Corporation's website. It's under the Racial Justice tab, which is something new for the CDC to have. And you can actually take the journey. This is not a place where I'm collecting data. This is not for you to check boxes. It actually has kind of mirrors throughout it. So this is about you and this time and that space for you to kind of get real with yourself and actually speak and internalize with yourself.
So when you when people went out, you said around 80 individuals within Greenfield, correct? Did you get a lot of positive feedback? Did you get some kickback, some puzzled looks?
I wouldn't say positive, but I think if you met Mari, you would understand why she was able to get authentic responses. So I wouldn't say it was positive or negative, but she was able to kind of sit with folks and get them to be vulnerable and to get them to be truthful. Still, we know Greenfield, that I think it's 96% of the population is white here. There's a lot of older generations here, so there's some kind of generational type of mindsets around here. But for the most part, I think she captured the voice of those 80 people in a narrative that was so powerful. So you can find the voice of the community at the beginning. I think it's at the end. Actually, it's at the end of the reflective journey. So she actually kind of combined those voices in a way that you can understand what's happening in the community around racial justice.
Okay, and like you said, that this was actually, it was unveiled, correct, at Greenfield Community College on August 8th, correct?
That's right.
And right now it's housed at Franklin County CDC.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And like I said, you guys can't see the picture, but you could see it on the website.
Yes.
So
thank you.
That that was a beautiful picture, and like I said, I didn't even know that even existed. So
and Mari is the artist. Now, if you talk about bringing artists on your show, you got to have her. She is superb in her presence and her understanding for a young woman. She understands racial justice at a level that I am just blown away by her comprehension. And she actually created that piece of artwork based on her experience.
She created this.
She drew that, absolutely, and it's actually sitting in the lobby of the Franklin County CDC. So this was her vision of the work and how Franklin County actually is situated in the community with regards to justice.
I would definitely like to connect with her, and maybe she could even bring it here, and we could do a segment with her and go more in depth about the tool.
She's amazing. We actually just got together again. Now we're going to expand that work into Springfield. And we're going to be focusing more on entrepreneurs. And I know you said that you
Yes,
want to bring those
absolutely.
on. So our focus right now will be on Black business owners.
Okay. So now when you say, because, I'm Springfield born.
Me too.
And Springfield, we're definitely Hampton County people. When you started because you didn't always work in Franklin County or Greenfield, correct? So when you made this transition, first of all, what brought you to Franklin County? Because number one, the culture is totally different when you look at Springfield and you look at Greenfield. So knowing all this, what motivated you to come to Greenfield to do the work that you do, knowing that you would make an imprint the way that you've made an imprint?
Man, that is such a super question, and it's such a heartfelt question because actually, Jeff Hamilton?
Yes.
He actually told me about this job, and he's from Springfield.
Okay.
But he knows John, and they have this kind of collaborative working relationship because they're both CDC. So Jeff is running the Springfield Neighborhood Housing, which is a CDC in Springfield. And John. So I've talked to Jeff off and on over the years, and he thought that I would be a good fit for this job. So I applied, and after I met with the hiring committee, and John, I got to tell you, he was very strategic about that committee because he went outside of the work or his staff to ensure that people who look like me was sitting on that hiring committee. And Eve Salomon Fernandez was on there.
Really?
Amy from Mesa
Verde
Verde was on that committee. Yeah.
Two women I just have a lot of respect for, like yourself. And they also are very well known and impactful within the community as well. So yeah, and I've met John a few times, and I have to say that John's energy is nothing to be compared with. His heart is definitely in the right place, and he's real to what he says. And I know probably when he sat down and spoke with you the first time, he was probably like, this is my golden ticket.
Yeah, I think he said that a couple of times, but also he tells me I have him doing crazy things. I mock him. He said, Traci, you got me doing crazy things because I challenge him when he's sitting and he has an opportunity to speak up, or he let an opportunity go by to make a difference.
And
so,
you're like, John.
Okay, we got to talk about this right now. So let's just replay what just happened, and let's see how we can ensure that it happens differently next time. So he's very open, and I really feel like I'm able to do a lot of the things that I do because of his flexibility, his willingness to own his whiteness as a white male, and he understands what it means for him as a privileged person to be in the space. And when he's actually owning it to a way that, he said, I got to check myself, Traci. I'm like, yes, check yourself a little bit. And that's which is refreshing. And
because it's great that you guys have such a personal relationship and professional relationship, and you guys work great together. Now, the Welcoming and Belonging Group, is that something, another group within Franklin County CDC, or?
Something like that. The Welcome and Belonging group was started before I got here, so I guess the CDC and other leaders in Franklin County were talking about wanting to invite a more diverse population here, but if they're not being welcoming and belonging, how do we get these people here? So they started that group maybe about 2 years before I got here, and then it kind of stagnated for a little while, and then I ignited the group again. So I pretty much facilitate those conversations. I bring in speakers, I bring in topics, and one of the things that I think I do well in that group is I put it in their lap. So we don't generalize issues that are happening. And when we give people an opportunity to say, oh, that's too bad, they shouldn't do that. And I just feel, oh, that's terrible. Like, how long are we going to? No, this is in your lap. This is happening to you. Now, we need to talk about how you would deal with this and what it means for you. And you need to be very truthful with yourself and with me, so that the next time we have this conversation, we'll know where we are and we know what we need to work on specifically.
Yes.
So that's how that group has been working. And over the years, it's been a number of people. This got smaller, then it gets bigger, and I know people are still looking at racial justice as something separate that they work on. And this work needs to be infused in everything you do. Every single day. Yep. Whether you're in work or outside of work. And that's one of the things that I've been working on.
Thank you. Now, is this your statement too, when hiring managers tend to ask who will be a good culture fit? Instead,
That's me.
Instead, we encourage managers to think about adding culture. That's you.
That's me.
Traci, you're all over this. This is just you. You're all over this.
Yeah. We don't want people to fit. We need to think about expanding and being flexible about how we add what we see when we're interviewing people. We want to bring that in to expand the culture.
Okay. So let's talk about the CDC Block Party.
Oh, okay.
The most wonderful event of the year, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about it. Is this your baby? Did you start this?
No.
Okay. So how long have you guys been doing this Block Party?
Well, the Block Party, I think this is the 3rd year. So the Block Party is really set up, of course, to let the community know that the CDC is where it is. Because believe it or not, there's people in this community that don't know.
They drive right by.
They don't know
it's there.
And they don't know what we do. So this is a way to invite the community in to see what we do. We do tours as far as the food processing center. That space is amazing. I've been there 3.5 years, and I'm always amazed at what they're able to produce as an incubator for entrepreneurs who have any type of food product that they want to develop.
Wow. And that's open, or they go through your program?
It's open. You can set up tours with Liz or Kate Menifee, which is, I believe her is the product development specialist, which is her title. We also added another level to that processing center, which is called the Ag Innovation Center, which helps farmers and other people who produce products to add value to what actually exists. So if it's what you're doing is out of season, you have slower seasons, we think of creative ways and how you can still make money off of a product by adding value to a resource after the time is over. So the Block Party is to do that, to talk about what we do, but we also highlight entrepreneurs that we've been able to support through TA, technical assistance, lending, and they're able to come back and talk to the community about what's possible as an entrepreneur, but also share some of those challenges and how organizations such as the CDC can help them.
So how many businesses you focus on small business and startup business, obviously. So how many, if you could just give an estimate annually, how many small businesses do you help get off the ground?
That's a tricky number. I mean, we have applications, we have interest forms, and we have applications that come in weekly. So as far as weekly, so we might get in maybe 10 to 15 applications weekly.
Oh, wow.
So based on the program and the needs,
we have over 500 a year.
A year. So with the various programs within the CDC, we kind of triage those inquiry forms or those applicants to the appropriate. So if they need TA right away, they will go to Iris, which is our new business technical assistance. If they need lending and they've already been in business, and then they would go to Glenn. If they're trying to develop a food product, they would go to Kate. If they already have a food product and now they're figuring out how to add value, they would go to Trisha.
Different departments.
So every Tuesday we triage those applications and we submit those to various programs.
So I don't want to get away from the Block Party, though.
Okay.
So when is the date, the time for the Block Party?
June 6th at 4:30.
At 4:30 at CDC.
At CDC in the parking lot. So it's going to be a fun evening. We'll have vendors and we'll have food, and we'll be also showcasing some of the local food vendors. within the area. I think we'll have a food truck.
The Filipino food truck.
I believe so.
Yes.
I'm not sure who's coming in as far as food, but I know we'll have 3 food choices, beverages. So if ice cream, I think, our Bart's ice cream, I'm not sure who's coming in, but every year we try to feature and support them. Yes.
Local food truck vendor. I was there last year. I have to say that it was. I met your mom.
Yeah.
It was.
She'll be here this year too.
Okay. It was so much fun. I really enjoyed myself, and it seems like by the time I got over to the ice cream, it was like
gone.
That's the only thing when you have these great events.
But you were vending, so you had to talk to your people about Juneteenth.
Yeah, that's what it was. I was just talking. By the time I finished, as a matter of fact, the picture right here, that I was like, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
I was talking.
Yes.
So by the time
doing your job.
Yeah. So by the time I actually went over to the table, everything was gone. I was like, okay. I said, okay, but it was definitely
You'll be here this year, though.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I'm there. But it was definitely a well-attended event.
Absolutely.
It was family friendly, and I seen so many local vendors and people there who I knew. I believe Jesse from Chamber of Commerce was there, and a lot of other businesses was there as well.
They're actually going to co-support and sponsor us this year, so they'll have a bigger role or a more collaborative role this year with the block party.
That's gonna be fun. So, how do you hire your DJ? Is this like a local DJ, or is this like?
Yeah, it was local, and I think again when we're brainstorming and we're actually coming together, we really, really concentrate and focus on local.
Okay.
Who we can support, who we can, bring the focus or spotlight on, so they can build their business, and mainly folks in Greenfield or other communities. But now, again, with me, we're trying to expand that, because some of the work we do, we really want to get to Western Mass. Yeah. So part of my grant was to work within those communities. And so now we're doing a better job in doing the work out into those communities.
That's awesome work, Traci. I mean, like I said, June 6th, and the time is?
4:30.
4:30.
And I'm sure people, 7. I think it's 4:37.
Yeah, I thought I looked at it. It did say 4:30 and 7. So yes, it's definitely a fun-filled event that you could bring your family to. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good entertainment. You'll meet a lot of the small businesses that actually receive grants. Correct, small startup businesses will be there. So there'll be like you'll probably have business there who's probably going to use it as a platform to also launch their business as well.
Absolutely.
Correct? Okay.
Absolutely.
So there's different ways, especially if you support small business, that you could definitely come out and support this event as well. And as well as the food vendors, like I was saying, I know, I believe her name is Ginger Loves Cafe. Ginger Love Cafe, yes. Because she's a Filipino food truck. The only reason why I know is because when I seen that she was actually one of your vendors, I said, that's so funny, because she's one of my vendors for Juneteenth too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so nice. I'm like, but I never met her in person. So
are you going to be vending at your own Juneteenth? Are you going to be vending? I know this is not supposed to be about you, but I want to know if you're going to be cooking.
That's still in the air right now. There's it's definitely has reached so much, and I really can't do as much as I want to do because of how fast it's grown in 3 years. So eventually one day I will be vending or have people working my vending table. Certain things I have to put in order as far as my management license, and able to because it's different versus having a brick and mortar to having like a mobile food truck and all this different licenses and permits and everything like that. So eventually that's my goal, because I don't know if I ever told you or not, but on Saturdays I tend to work with Amy at Mesa Verde and everything with the Jamaican cuisine and stuff like that. So I'm trying to introduce the community to something different. So that's definitely something new. I know our time is getting short, but please, we want to talk about this book that Traci has in front of her. But before we go there, Juneteenth, I know our time is short, but like I said, Traci was actually one of our speakers. I'm very happy to announce that Traci will be there again this year, speaking again. So please make sure you come out to Juneteenth on June 19th. the actual day at Beacon Field. The event is going to be from 12 to 5, and it's going to be a fun-filled, entertaining, with a lot of educational.
Can I ask you a question about Juneteenth? And I know you want to get back to this book, because I think this book, 1001 things that you should know about African American history,
yes.
And I'm not going to bring it up now, but I may bring some historical tidbits from this book as part of my speech.
Okay.
So I am really, really excited that you brought Juneteenth to Greenfield, and I'm so appreciative of your hard work, your vision, and the ability to bring all of those components together. What does Juneteenth mean to you in this community right now? And I have to flip the script a little bit, because I'm curious. I'm an educator, and I ask questions.
You have totally flipped the script, and it's okay. Well, as far as Juneteenth in this community, as far as then and now, the reason why it started was, like I've been very open about before, our community was at a very negative spot when I started Juneteenth, this third year, so that would be like 2022, I'm sorry, was the first one. And our community was divided because of certain situations that was going on, and everybody was at each other's throat. At the time, I was serving on the HRC, like I am now, Human Rights Commission, and they didn't know which way to go with it. So me being a new commissioner like you, I tend to just take charge. I see something, you don't know what to do, then I'm gonna do it. So I ended up taking on Juneteenth on my own, because I felt this is something important that needs to be done. We need to find that common ground to unite against something positive, something that brought us together, something that was a beginning of a new beginning for us, and an ending of a very turbulent time in this country. Okay. Fast forward to where we are now. There's two things. I'm very excited because of how many people are involved and engaged and have made commitments to be involved with Juneteenth. On the flip side, I get very discouraged because when you go under some of these groups in Greenfield,
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of these comments. I've heard the other day, oh, Juneteenth is the dumbest holiday I've ever heard of. I don't know why people even celebrate that, and da-da-da-da-da. And as a Black woman who really believes in what I'm doing and the mission why I'm doing it, that's very discouraging, because I'm doing all the work, so it's not just Juneteenth, but it's discouraging to me because I'm promoting this, because I believe in that. So, it's that's kind of a twofold question there. I mean, like I said, on the one end, I'm very happy, but no good deed goes unpunished, they say.
Ooh.
I'll leave that there.
So I understand, and I'm here to support you. Because when we do the work that we are directly impacted by, we're not victims of the work,
Absolutely.
But we're directly impacted by the work, that emotional draw and that strain that makes you just want to say, I need to get away for a few minutes, and it's okay, a few days, and we need to be able to take care of ourselves emotionally, because it can be trying, can be discouraging, and it can be heartbreaking when people can't buy into the emotional piece that you bring to it. And I know we have time, because I see you looking. I just want to just say one more thing, just about the education piece. Because of my experience as a Black woman in higher education, I founded another nonprofit called the African American Female Professor Awards Association, which has been around for 8 years. And annually, I recognize Black women in higher education, which we only make up about 1.2% of Black women in higher education in the United States. So I just wanted to put that piece of information out there. Know that work is happening. Know that Black women in higher education face cultural taxation and doing their job, just like you're trying to do this job. That taxation is real. So I decided to celebrate them, and now I'm doing some more internal investigative work around racism in higher education institutions. So thank you for allowing me to share that. And
thank you for coming to my first premiere of Moving Mountains Media, and thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. High five. High five.
I could talk to you all day. Okay, girl. Come on.
That's what we do.